This is the object lesson for lesson number 1 of the unit, The Cycle Breaker. And unit Cycle Breaker is about learning how to break negative life cycles. And so we illustrate life cycles and negativity passed on from generation to generation with this object lesson of a family tree. And so here's a student, and he can trace back to his parents. Each of those parents trace back to their parents. And so what we're talking about how is a simple family tree. This is not very far. It illustrates the point, though, that something that might have started back here with one of the grandparents is more than likely to carry on into the life of their child and their grandchild unless something stops that negative life cycle. And so that's kind of just shows in a family tree. Now, we actually on the other side is an example of the same exact family tree, but we've superimposed name and picture from the Bible story. So here's Josiah, which is what the Bible story is about. He became king at 8, and that Bible stories explain how and why all that happened. His father Ammon, and then his Josiah's grandfather Manasseh. So Josiah's father Ammon, his father Manasseh, and those guys were wicked and evil kings. And the reason Amnon was a wicked and evil king is because his father was. And yet Josiah was different. He didn't carry on the same thing. He was not a wicked and evil king because Josiah was a cycle breaker. And so the negative thing that happens often in our lives carries over. Now the kids understand and they know this. They see this instinctively. And yet in this case, Josiah, it was different because he broke the cycle. Josiah was a cycle breaker. And so the evil, wicked king that his grandfather was and that his father was then became not the case with him. And so the Bible story kind of illustrates that and teaches that further. But we wanted to just show an example of a family tree to show how negative life cycles are passed down. And so that's the object lesson for lesson number 1 of Cycle Breaker.